The fortress of Chios town, a monument that exceeds 1,000 years of history. A monument that is connected with the whole course of history of the island of Chios. A unique pole of attraction among travellers for centuries, that persists in fascinating the modern visitor. Because, even though it is a living part of the modern town, it offers itself for an unexpected wandering through time. The fortress of Chios town is one of the few coastal fortresses throughout Greece. Occupying a large area and having existed for more than 10 centuries, it encloses the history of the island from the Byzantine era up until today. During the Byzantine, Genoese and Ottoman eras, the fortress was the seat of government for both military and political administration, while at the same time it provided the respective populations with a dwelling place. The fortress was founded in the 9th century and remained in the hands of the Byzantines until 1346. Once more, the Genoese occupy the island, and it is yielded to them by treaty. 1 year later, it comes under the control of the Mahona, which was the commercial and shipping company of the Genoese, and whose members mainly belonged to the Justiniani family. In 1566, it is the Ottomans' turn. Apart from a brief discontinuance caused by the Venetian occupation, the fortress will remain under Ottoman rule until 1912, when the island gains its liberation and the Greek state annexes to its body. But let us untangle the thread of history from the beginning. The first traces of habitation on the island date back to 6000 BC. As early as antiquity, the town of Chios has been the economic, cultural, and political centre of the island. It occupies the stretch of land which lies closest to Asia Minor at the easternmost side of the central part of the island. According to the most widely held view, even the Mycenaean city should be sought within the locations of the fortress. Chios has always had an intensely seafaring and commercial character. Thucydides refers to the importance of the Chian navy, while Strabon speaks of Polin Evlemino, meaning a city with an easily accessible port. Vitruvius testifies to the fact that, during the Roman years, the walls of the fortress were washed by the sea. Archaeological, as well as other random finds, manifest the uninterrupted historical sequence of the place. Through the various successive historical periods, the capital has steadily maintained its name and position. In all probability, the ancient wars started at the sea, and today's fortress formed part of the walled city, with the wider area of the fortress forming at all times its essential part. The extension of these fortifications towards the sea would create the later Byzantine fortress. The island became particularly prosperous during the Middle Byzantine era. It was in those times that the splendid monastery of Neamoni was built, with its presence having an impact on the entire island. The first Byzantine fortifications of the city, known as Paleocastro, were also founded in the immediate neighbourhood of Agia Anna Capella around the same period, and they were preserved until the 17th century. Anna Komneni, the Byzantine historian, describes in her work Alexius the reoccupation of a fortress similar to that of today by her father, Alexius Komnenos, and his fleet towards the end of the 11th century. Chios fortress had been temporarily occupied by Seltzer Khmer Chaka's fleet. Further information on the Byzantine fortress is also provided by the imperial crucibles of Nicephorus Votaniatis and Michael VIII of Palaiologos. Various parts of the walls, as well as the Byzantine churches of the fortress, such as Agios Nikolaos, Idrojaki Keri, and Agios Georgios, the metropolitan church of the fortress, bear a living testimony to that time period. In the church of Agios Georgios, there is an Ottoman inscription that puts the time of the fortress's construction earlier than 993, thus corroborating Anna Komneni's reference. The Koulas, which is the one and only separate tower of the fortress, also belongs in the Byzantine era. It is petal-shaped, and it is most obvious that ancient architectural members were added to its main body. It is believed that due to its privileged position, the fortress formed the last part of the coastal watchtower system on the island. The Koulas participated in the watchtower network, which had been developed along the island coasts and transmitted information concerning its security by means of visual signals such as fire or smoke. This network would be further developed during the years of the Genoese domination that was to follow. The period of the Genoese occupation has left its strong traces on the fortress. It began in 1261 with the Treaty of Nymphium. That was the time when Michael Palaiologos allowed the Genoese, a great naval and commercial power of the time, to found a trading post on the island.